Hey, third grade, it's Miss Clark. I am going to make a video for you to help you out with some division. So I'm going to make a two-part video because I don't want to cram everything into just one video. So we're going to be looking at chapter 7 today, and we're going to be looking at lessons 1 through 3. Okay, so this is going to cover some stuff I know Miss Liz has already covered, but I'm going to go back over with you. And then the basics of division. Remember, you have to know your multiplication facts to be able to do division. So I'm going to be following the book so you can follow along with me. I am using the internet version of the book, so you're going to have to kind of bear with me while I use it, okay? So let's start out with lesson 1. I'm going to put L1 here so we know. It says Brian has 24 model cars in his bookcase. He has 6 models on each shelf. How many shelves are there? To find how many shelves, divide 24 by 6. So that is the division fact they give me. And then it shows me his cars. So he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on one shelf. And now we're going to just keep counting up till we get to 24. We want to make sure that we do have 6 on each shelf. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. The dots represent my cars. So I'm going to use blue and let's circle it. So each of these blue circles is the shelf that my cars are on. So we know we have 24 cars and we know that I have 6 on each shelf. So to figure out 24 divided by 6, I can count off each shelf and I have 4 shelves. So this is called an array, and you might have learned that already with multiplication. An array is when we use dots and we put them in rows to help us with multiplication and division. So the next part I want to look at with you is what makes up a division fact. So if we have 24 divided by 6 equals, and we already figured out that it was going to be 4, we can talk about this division problem in terms of what these numbers are called. The bigger number right here, 24, is going to be our dividend. The bigger number is always going to be your dividend. The 6 right here is called our divisor. And this 4 is called our quotient. Your quotient is just a fancy name for the answer to a division problem. What this lesson shows us is that we can use multiplication to help us find the answer to a division problem. Multiplication and division go together. If you remember when you were younger and even in the beginning of 3rd grade, we did fact families. A fact family is 4 facts that all go together. So I'm going to erase this, and remember, if I'm going too fast, just pause it to copy down what you need to copy. So let's look at what they give you. They give you 24 divided by 6, and we said that equals 4. We said that 24 was our dividend, 6 is our divisor, and 4 is our quotient. If we wanted to figure out what the 4 was, if we didn't already know what the 4 was, we can use multiplication. So when you're looking at a fact like this, we can say something times 6 equals 24. So the missing factor is this number right here. That's what I want to figure out. So I would say, what times 6 equals 24? And I know my multiplication fact, so I know that 4 times 6 equals 24. Okay, so you can use multiplication to figure out division. That's how you do it. So let's look at some of the things they give you here. If we go down, we can see where it has a circle and a circle, a circle, 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 circle. And then what they did was they put a bigger circle around those two circles. Then it wants you to match the fact it shows. Well, I know that I have 2 in each group, so it's not going to be A, B, or C. I'm looking at 1, 2, and 3 on page 142. It's not going to be A, because A doesn't have a 2 in it anywhere. I have 3 groups of 2, so I need to figure out how many total I have if we're dividing it into groups. So let's count how many circles we have first. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 circles. And remember, I told you your biggest number is going to be your dividend. We're going to divide that, and we put 2 in each group. So if we divide it, that means we have 3 groups, which I do. I have 1, 2, and 3 groups here. Okay. So let's look at number 2. Number 2 is where they have the little triangles. So they have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then they circled them into groups. The circles are groups. So let's start by counting up how many triangles we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 triangles. And then I split them into 3 in each group. So I have 3 groups. Okay. So what you're going to do first, if you're doing an array like this, is count up how many of the circles or the triangles or the stars or whatever, count it all up, and then see how many are in each group. And then we can figure out how many groups we have. Let's do one more. And then I want to show you one more thing before we look at lesson 2. Let's do the stars. They have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's circle them to put in our groups. Let's count how many stars we have first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 is going to be my dividend. I have 4 in each group. And if I divide that, I have 2 groups, which you see in our red circles. Okay, so if you want to make an equation, if your book asks you to, using an array like this, that is how you would figure that out. I want to show you a couple more things before we move on out of lesson 1. Another way, and I believe Miss Liz showed you this, that you will see division written is what I call a little house. The house looks like this. We want to put the bigger number inside the house. This is our divisor. Then we're going to put, I'm sorry, it is not your divisor. Back up. That's your dividend. I was thinking ahead of myself. Dividend. This is your divisor. Now, if we want to divide that and we get 4, 4 on top is our quotient. This is going to be our answer. Okay, so this is how you're often going to see division, especially when you get into 4th grade with me next year. This is how we do our division. We're currently doing it right now, and we do our little house. It's how you solve them when you get into longer division. Right now, we're just learning the beginnings of it, okay? So let's look at the rest of your page. I'm going to look real quick at page 143. It gives you something like this. 9 times 3 equals blank. So blank divided by 3 equals 9. First, I'm going to solve 9 times 3 because I know what 9 times 3 is. It's going to be 27. So if I have a 9 here, I have a 9 here, a 3 here, and a 3 here, then the only thing missing is this 27. So 27 has to be what's missing in this little fact family. 27 divided by 3 is 9. If you didn't know that, you could say you could do it this way. 9 times 3 equals, and then you'll get your answer here, okay? So let's move on to lesson 2 real quick. I'm going to erase this and I'm going to pull it up on my computer. So give me just a second. Lesson 2. What I really, really want you to focus on is knowing those multiplication facts, because you can't do it if you don't know those facts. It's just not going to happen, okay? So lesson 2, the title of it is Divide by 2. So let's see what they give us. It says Alicia writes 14 pages in her journal in 2 days. She writes the same number of pages each day. How many pages does Alicia write each day? To find how many pages Alicia writes each day, divide 14 divided by 2. It equals something we have to figure out. It says you can draw a model to find how many in each group. So if we have 2 days, so let's say this is day 1 and this is day 2. We want to put an equal amount in each one. So let's count. I'm just going to separate it like this into a little chart. Let's count 1 in each until we get to 14. It's almost like if you have 2 groups and you're taking something and you're sorting it. I'm going to put 1 in this group, 1 in this group, 1 in this group, 1 in this group. So we're going to keep going until we get to 14. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I have an even number of pages in each one. So then let's count how many pages we have in each group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 here and 7 here. You know that 7 plus 7 equals 14. So 14 divided by 2 equals 7. Another way to do that is if you don't draw the model out, and you're not going to have time to draw the model out every single time. You need to be able to do it faster than drawing the model. The model is good for you to look at, but you're going to have to get where you don't always draw a model. So if we have 14 divided by 2 equals something, we need to figure out what times 2 equals 14. So in your head, you're going to think, what fact do I know that is times 2 that would equal 14? And you should know that it is 7 because you know your 2 facts. Another way you can write that is our little house. We would put 14 in the middle. Our divisor is on the outside. So think about divisor as something we're dividing by. And 7 is our answer, so we write it up here. It's completely up to you how you want to write it. They're both correct. So let's look at 1, 2, and 3 that they give us on page 144. On page 144, that's what I'm going to look at real quick. So they give us heart, 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 heart. And they put them into 3 groups. So let's write a division equation for each model. So first, let's count how many hearts we have, just like we did before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 hearts. We divide it into 3 groups. So we have 2 hearts in each group. We could also say that we have 6 hearts divided by 3 groups, and we have 2 hearts in each group. Both of those are correct division equations. You can have 2 different equations for any of these. It's up to you which one to use. They're both correct. Okay, so let's go down to the next page on 145. I think you guys probably understand the arrays. Just begin by counting how many total you have and then the groups. So let's look at what they give us below. Here they give us write a related or use a related multiplication fact to find the dividend. So they give us blank divided by 2 equals 4. Work backwards. The opposite of division is multiplication. So I'm going to work backwards and multiply these 2 numbers. 4 times 2 equals 8. So let's put it over here. If I take 8 things, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I divide them like this, I have 2 groups of 4. So that is how you would make your related multiplication fact for this. So let's look at another one. Let's do something divided by 2 equals 5. Work backwards. What is 2 times 5? That equals 10. So 10 would go over here. So what you need to remember here is that multiplication and division undo each other. They're like the opposite of each other. Okay, so I'm going to erase this one. And let's look at some other ones they give you. They give you one like this. This is what you're going to see most likely, okay? So you're going to think something times 2. Sorry, that's my dog. Something times 2 equals 16. Something times 2 equals 16. So you're going to think, what times 2 equals 16? And it's 8, so 16 divided by 2 is 8. 8 is going to be your final answer, okay? If you look at the chart below, it gives you a little chart where you're dividing by 2 each time and you'll see a pattern. Okay, so let's move on to lesson 3 real quick. And then I will let you kind of have a break with the video. So lesson 3. So what this chapter is going to do is keep going up, and we're going to keep doing the same thing we've been doing, except dividing by different numbers every time, which is, I kind of like how they do it because it makes it sort of easier on you. So let's look at page 146, this page right here. It says there are 15 birds resting on 3 branches of a tree. Each branch has the same number of birds resting on it. How many birds are on each branch? To find how many birds, divide 15 by 3. 15 divided by 3. It says you can draw an array, draw one circle in each of 3 rows. Keep drawing it until you get to 15. So same thing we did for the other one. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Got to 15, so let's stop. It says count the number of columns. Remember, columns go up and down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. So if we have 15 divided by 3, we just counted our columns up. It has to be 5, okay? So if we're counting like that, we also can think about it like this. 3 times 5 equals 15. And if we wanted to use our house, we would write 15 in the inside. I don't think I told you this in the other part of the video, but I think Miss Liz told you too, we like to think of it as the dividend is in the den of the house, so it's inside the house. If we're dividing by 3, it goes on the outside, and our answer of 5 goes on the top. So we have 5 birds on each branch of the tree. So let's look at some other things that you might get with this. What Miss Liz and I really want you to get right now is that you know what the divisor is, you know what the dividend is, and you know what the quotient is. We also want you to be able to use your multiplication facts to figure out what the division problem is. So if we have something like this, 6 divided by 3 equals question mark. I'm going to think in my head, what multiplication fact do I know that uses 3 and gets to 6? So 3 times what equals 6? Well, I know that that's going to be 2. So 2 has to be my answer here. We're just using multiplication facts to figure it out. Related facts, fact families, whatever you want to call them. Okay, so let's do another. Let's do something like 18 divided by 3 equals question mark. I don't know yet. I got to figure it out. So I want to figure it out by saying 3 times something equals 18. All I'm doing is using these numbers and putting them in a different spot in the multiplication problem. I'm going to use my facts and I'm going to say, okay, 3 times 1 is 3. That's not 18. 3 times 2 is 6. That's not right. 3 times 3 is 9. Still not 18. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 6, that's 18. So 6 has to be my answer. Okay? If you don't know your multiplication facts, study, study, study. I actually just went to Target after school today, and I got more flashcards to use with my students. So it doesn't go away. We're still in 5th grade doing flashcards. You need to practice, and you need to be doing it just like that. Okay, so let's look at some of the models they give us. The models are important because you need to be able to see it in different ways. So one of the models they give you is squares. They give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let me count how many we have going across the top real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So then I'm just going to fill them in really quickly. This is the annoying part of doing arrays. They take forever. Okay, so I drew what they had. They had 10 squares going across. Let me double check. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And 3 going down, and then we just filled it in. You'll notice that the arrays are all even. There's not just one out by itself. So we have 30 squares. And then I have all of these. I have 3 in each column. So I'm going to say I'm dividing it by 3 in each column. And then to figure out the answer, let's count our columns. I'm going to do it in red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so 30 divided by 3 is 10 would be represented by that fact. If we're writing it in the house, 30 divided by 3 equals 10. All right, so this is the kind of stuff you're going to see. I'm going to end this video here just because I don't want it to be super long videos. I know you're splitting it up in class. Miss Allen will be giving you what you need to work on in class. She'll be giving you all your classwork. This is just extra to help you, walk you through all of them. Just remember that division is the opposite of multiplication, so you can do them together to undo each other to figure out the questions that you don't know. All right, so I'm going to end our video and I will see you for the next 3 lessons.